Hey guys, welcome to wonderful Animas Ocho and Animas Altas in San Jose del Cabo, Baja California Sur. This is a great place where we're going to show you a little lunch today for a great local couple. This is my friend Diego who's going to help me out with the food today. And we're going to start with a great light seafood, locally sourced lunch. So we're going to start with our washing our hands, of course. So what we've got today is we're going to start off with a wonderful fresh ceviche. This ceviche we're going to make with some nácar sea scallops. These are locally sourced here in the Sea of Cortez. Wonderful heirloom tomatoes, some green chili, and a black chili sauce that I pre-made before. Then we're going to follow with a great clam, kind of a Thai-inspired coconut ginger saute with some wonderful organic zucchinis right here from Las Animas. We're going to finish it with a little touch of our secret sauce, right? And we're going to finish today with a wonderful vegan dish, which is going to be a roasted squash with a cashew and lemon mole. So join us, guys. We're going to start first with our onion for our ceviche. I'm going to grab my bowl here. And I'm just going to kind of slice these onions like so. Nicely sliced onion. Add a little bit of salt. Now what the salt does is that the salt kind of permeates the onion and it kind of draws out its moisture. Because if not, we're just going to be eating just like raw onion, and that's not very delicious, right? But if it's slightly pickled in lemon juice, the salt helps get that pickling ready, right? So we're going to start with the onion and the salt, and now we're going to squeeze some lemon juice on it. If you ain't got one of these at home, you better get one. These are great. You know, a lemon juice squeezer. These are awesome. Super cheap. So we're going to kind of squeeze in the lime juice in here. It has nice acidity. It has, the onion's going to give it a little bit of kind of sweetness. Just enough lime juice for the onion to be fully coated. Now we're going to go ahead with our scallops. Look at these scallops. These are great, locally sourced Sea of Cortez scallops, right? They call it nácar, concha nácar scallops. They're awesome. They have a very kind of sweet finish to them, which is great. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to kind of slice them very roughly, right? You want those kind of nice bits of scallop in there, so there's a little bit of bite to what we're doing. Okay. Now, while I'm doing this and Diego's helping me out, Diego has started to cook the squash for our main course today, for our vegan dish. So he's already got that in the oven. It's basically just kind of wrap a butternut squash and a sweet potato in tin foil with a little bit of salt and pepper, olive oil, and just put it in the oven for 400 degrees for about 15 to 18 minutes, depending on the size of the squash, and just for it to get tender. And that's it, right? We're not going to do anything much else to it. All of the flavor comes naturally from that vegetable. And then we're going to finish it with our wonderful cashew and lemon mole, which is a vegan kind of version of a nut mole or an almendrado. Now, look at these scallops. These are awesome right now. So we're just gonna kind of mix them into the onions with the lime juice. We're gonna add a little bit more salt and some pepper, right? Because that's gonna kind of add a little bit more taste to it. It's gonna give it that nice twang. And our black sauce. Okay, this I pre-made before. So this is ashes from habanero peppers, a little bit of guajillo chile, and some charred onion and tomato, right? So I made this ahead of time. If you don't want to make one, you can buy one in the store, kind of pre-made. They're super easy to find. And here in Los Cabos, I think you can even find them even easier, right? So when you come down, please be sure to have your seafood with a little bit of salsa negra marisquera, okay? So we're gonna leave our scallops in here, in our black sauce to kind of marinate a little bit, kind of suck in the flavor. And while that is marinating, we're gonna go ahead and start with our clams. Now, for our clams, it's going to be kind of like a Thai dish. So we're going to use some coconut oil or coconut fat, as well as some coconut milk. This is unsweetened coconut milk. It's very important that you use unsweetened because this is a savory dish. And we don't want to kind of mess it up with the sweet stuff, right? So we're going to grab preferably a wok or a pan with kind of wide edges, you know, allowing us to kind of be able to saute. So we're gonna grab our wok, we're gonna grab the fat here, the coconut oil here. This is coagulated now basically because of, you know, the temperature. As soon as it heats up, it melts. It's gonna be quite a bit. And we're gonna add in first our zucchinis. We're going to give that a nice saute. Now, here's a tip I want to give you, right? You always want to cook with salt, right? You always want to kind of add salt and be adding salt every time you throw in something in the pan. That way you kind of let the salt infuse with the preparation and kind of let the flavors meld together. Right? That way you don't have to adjust the flavor at the very end. Okay? So we're going to just kind of saute this. Now you get that kind of very natural coconutty smell right now, which is awesome, is exactly what we want. And our coconut curry, we're going to call it, or our Thai clams, right? They're going to go great with a white kind of fresh wine, right? So definitely you should be cracking open a bottle of white wine, maybe a Chard or a Chenin Blanc, or maybe even a rosé at this time, right? You want to let that, because you're going to enjoy it. Now, as you see, the coconut, the zucchini has kind of absorbed a little bit of the coconut fat, which is great, okay? So we're going to add in some garlic. This is garlic that Diego here kind of just sliced for me. And some ginger. Oh, guys, I really wish you were here to kind of smell this. This is amazing, right? You get that smell. You get all of the freshness in the ginger. Now, if you see it's getting, oh man, you know, Alex, it's getting, looks a little bit dry. Don't worry about it. You can add just a little bit more of the coconut oil, right? So while that continues, right, we're going to go back to our clams. And we're going to throw in a little bit of lemongrass. Now, this lemongrass grows here in Los Cabos, in Las Animas, a lot. So you're going to be able to kind of have that very locally sourced produce, right? As I said, everything we're using was grown here, not more than a mile away. So this is very exciting. No, that smell, you know, that smell that's coming off right now is just incredible. Now we want a little bit of spice in our preparation, so I'm going to add some Thai peppers. These are kind of broken down a little bit, so we want a little bit of spice in here. And we're going to add in, at this point, our clams. Now just throw in the clams. Now the clams is very important. You kind of rinse them with fresh water before. That way they kind of open up and the clams kind of spit out the sand that they have. Remember, clams live on the shores underneath the sandbanks. So they're not sandy. You want to rinse them very well with running cold fresh water. Now once we give the clams a little saute, we're going to use our secret sauce. And some white wine. A lot of white wine. So what we want to do is we want to cover that and let the clams open up as they steam in the preparation, right? So they're gonna start to open up. They're gonna start to let go of the juices, and that's gonna kind of make the sauce with the coconut milk and the juices. So while that's going on, we're going to go back to our scallops now, and we're going to start plating our scallops. So our scallops have been kind of marinating in the black sauce, so they're nice and fully covered with paste. Now so we're just kind of put those scallops here. Here at Animas Ocho, we've got this these great plates that I'm super excited to use. You know, as a chef, I'm always very excited. You know, when you get to a place and they've got this amazing china, and they have this china here, which is awesome. Looks great, in my opinion. We're going to garnish with some cilantro. And some serrano pepper, just to kind of add a little bit of spice in there. So I'm going to go check on my clams for a little bit. You see they're not fully open yet, so I'm going to cover it back up. Diego was kind enough to kind of turn the flame down for me a little bit. So you want to start off with high heat, and then you want to go to kind of middle to low heat. All right, so that way you don't burn it, right? So we're going to finish it off with some lemon that I have here, a little bit of preserved lime I have here, which I'm just going to kind of grate here on top. A small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. black pepper. And a little bit of salt. So that's ready to be shared by our lovely couple today. So we're going to go back to our clams. We're going to go back to our clams. I'm going to take the top off. So the clams have now opened, right? If one or two of the clams aren't fully open, that's okay. Just grab a spoon and just kind of help it a little bit. Sometimes they don't kind of fully open on you, which is fine, but they are cooked, right? So you just want to kind of give it a little help. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to add in my coconut milk, my unsweetened coconut milk. Some Thai basil. This basil grows here in Animas. And for the basil, I'm just going to kind of break it up. Just kind of tear it with my hands, with my fingers, just kind of in pieces. Just so it's kind of more, let go some of the fragrance. Aquí está el pan con mantequilla. Some cilantro. Just on there like that, just kind of throw it on there. Give it a quick toss. I'm going to turn the heat back up a little bit just so the coconut milk kind of starts to boil again. It kind of all comes together. While that's going on, Diego's going to help me out. Diego's going to grab some of this ghee or clarified butter we made earlier, and he's going to toast some levain bread or some bread from an artisanal baker we have here in San Jose, from Crust Bakery. So he's going to kind of just put that butter in that pan and get it nice and warm and kind of toast the sourdough bread. And I'm going to finish our clams with a squeeze of fresh lemon juice, right? That's going to kind of pick everything up. It's going to give it that bright flavor, I would say. Now our squash, for our main course, for our main dish, our squash is ready. We baked it for 18 minutes, I would say, Diego, around. You see our sweet potatoes. So I'm going to grab our sweet potatoes. Careful, because this is hot. With my knife. And I'm just going to kind of slice it like this. Just to kind of make these steaks, I would say. I don't know how you would call them. And just kind of peel the skin off like this. If it breaks, don't worry. You know, we can kind of stick it back together. It's not a problem. Right? This is a great, I love this kind of vegan dish. It's kind of like a take on your typical, you know, kind of, I don't know, roasted pork loin or roasted chicken, right? But served with a very nice white cashew mole. which is super simple to make. So the cashew mole is just basically soaked cashew nuts. Now the nuts we soaked overnight, and then they are pureed with a little bit of water, extra virgin olive oil, lemon juice, some salt, pepper, a little bit of spices, a little bit of spices, and just blend it all together. There's no actual cooking or roasting or, right? Look at that butternut squash. I love this. This is a great kind of vegan dish. As I'm sure you know, vegan food, vegan cuisine is very much important nowadays, right? Especially with everything that's happening with COVID-19. It's very important that we kind of be very mindful of what we eat now and where it comes from, and we gotta stop eating so much animal, so much animals and all that. So providing great vegan preparations is a great way to help out the environment, right? So we're going to go back to our clams. Our clams are amazing now. They're completely done. Okay. We're going to finish off our clams. We're going to turn the heat back on. Again, some of these clams kind of, you want to help them just to kind of open that last little bit. They are cooked, but you also don't want to overcook them. So it's okay if they're a little bit missing. The residual heat from the pan is going to help it go the rest of the way. So we just want to kind of help them out a little bit. We're going to open our heat back up, and we're going to finish it with some lovely, fresh, heirloom tomatoes that we have in our orchards here. Just to kind of liven everything up, just kind of add a little bit more texture to everything and flavor, right? The tomatoes are going to help with the acidity. So we're going to have everything come together now. If you could smell this. In fact, you know what? This smells so good, I'm going to add just a little bit more basil to it because I really love this basil. This is a Thai basil that we grow here. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to it. As I said, this goes great with a white wine, right? So I would definitely recommend you look into a white Valle de Guadalupe wine. Maybe Chateau Camus, Umbral. I think that's a great wine to go with this. We're going to add a little bit of pepper, some pepper, black pepper. You see it started boiling back up. We're going to heat it back up again. Our tomatoes are kind of folding into the preparation. They're letting go some of the juice. I'm going to put our scallops over here for a little bit. And have our plate for our mole dish. And then grab our spoon, our cashew cream, our cashew mole. Place it down here. Our squash. Sweet potato. A small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. top of everything, just to kind of bring the flavors together. Finish it off with a little bit of cilantro. That is awesome. We'll put it over here so we can finish our clams. With a spoon, with a slotted spoon preferably. We're going to kind of place the clams first in the bowl. That way, if you just kind of drop it in there, it's going to sputter. It's going to, you know, kind of be a little messy, and we don't want that. We want that to be kind of very clean, and, you know, you don't want to mess your lovely apron up. Right, Diego? We don't want to mess our apron up. So once we get our clams in here and our kind of grab a lot of those vegetables, those tomatoes we ended at the end, right? The tomatoes aren't fully cooked, which is great because we want that kind of brightness, kind of that pop. You know, that also helps with the texture. It gives a little bit of crunch, a little bit of bite to what we're eating. We're going to finish with some of this juice, okay? This lovely, lovely coconut juice. And finally, we're going to top it off with this awesome sourdough that Diego has toasted with a little bit of butter, clarified butter, ghee. And there you have it. So this is a great locally sourced couples lunch in Animas Ocho here in San Jose del Cabo. Diego and myself, Alex, would like to thank you for being here with us today. We want to welcome you back to Los Cabos after this whole crisis has passed. And we want to tell you that we are ready and waiting with open arms to welcome you back to Los Cabos. Gracias. All right, guys. Little scallop ceviche. Some clams. And some roasted squash. Enjoy. Welcome to Los Cabos.
Thank you. Gracias.